Yesterday, we saw the TAKEDA trailer for Mortal Kombat 1, and a lot of information was squeezed into a few short minutes. Not just TAKEDA, but some of the upcoming balance changes as well, although there wasn't many of them in the trailer. The focus really was the new character. Let's go over this step by step, and I'll tell you exactly what I noticed as we look at what TAKEDA actually has to offer. So the first thing we see in this trailer is a ranged string, and it goes into a special move. This looks like it could be one of those Wrecker-like attacks, something we haven't seen for a while, or it's just going to be a move that has multiple enders. We see the meterless one here, but keep an eye on this animation, it does return later. After this, it's another basic string, looks like it has a pretty fast startup, and the ender has like a splat, so this could be an overhead, or it could be a mid. Either way, it's a fairly simple string. If it ends an overhead, that could be kind of useful for various other reasons. Alright, the first real significant move we see in the trailer is this air whip, this kind of evade attack where TAKEDA jumps into the air, uses a special move, and kind of grabs the ceiling. He uses it to go into a Shirai Ryu TAKEDA downward whip strike. So we know there's going to be some mobility here. We see this more later in the trailer. And then the second special that we see is very much like that diagonal down angle that Shirai Ryu had in Mortal Kombat X. Now, after this, we see the return of TAKEDA's old back to 1, the double overhead. Now, I don't know if that's actually going to be the input in this game, but animation-wise, it looks very, very similar. If they are two overheads, it's going to serve an identical purpose to MKX. And then from this, we see comboing into Sector's uppercut, and then the air whip, which we saw earlier on, extends air combo strings further. So already, we know that TAKEDA has range, has some confirmability, and because of that air whip, you have options to go for more air attacks than you can with other characters. After this, we see the return of the low kunai. This is not the same move that it is in MKX. So it's now a shuriken, it looks like. So we're going to have to completely replace all of that with just low shuriken. And he enters a running stance. This looks a bit reminiscent of something like a Homelander dash, something that has this immediate animation and then has extra enders. We see two of them in this trailer. Well, I think it's two of them. So clearly there's more than one thing at play. And the running stance, I mean, it could be somewhat of a throwback to Mortal Kombat X and the run mechanic. Afterwards, it's a quick string into a throw. Now, this throw, I don't know about you, but there are certain throws in the game that have certain animations that look like they're just ripe for cameo combos. And for me, TAKEDA's throw looks like one of them, something that kind of sends them far away and he recovers right before they hit the ground. This might work really well for certain pickups where TAKEDA can get full combos from it. In the Johnny Cage clip, we actually see the return of Lasher TAKEDA's down forward 1. For those that don't know, it's a low poke, but it has absurd range. And in Mortal Kombat X, had the rare luxury of comboing into specials, which most of the time, pokes didn't do. Now in this trailer, TAKEDA combos that long-range low poke with running stance into a different ender. This one pops them up. Now afterwards, back to 1, which I'm just saying is the double overhead, I don't know if that's the string, has a kind of like return to MKX where it's kind of really good for mid-combo pop-ups. In MKX, you could combo into various enders. Here, it's just an extended juggle. And then this is where we see another attack, the Shirai Ryu style whip grab, where he hits them with it and kind of pulls them in. We see this again later, but again, we're already seeing that there's a lot of combo potential with this character. Okay, here is where we see the very first balance update in a trailer. It's going to be the Frost Ambush. She's actually been given an ambush move, and it's a gigantic wall of ice that appears behind the opponent. For those of you that might be wondering what kind of utility does this serve, it's pretty much a wall combo anywhere you want to be, or wall pressure. Just putting the opponent back against a wall, but we're not in the corner, is a very rare kind of piece of utility, but when it exists, does tend to be pretty powerful, and I imagine it will be good here. In line of the wall combos that you get mid-screen thanks to Frost, we see a little bit of the low shuriken again. The low shuriken can be charged, and then another one seems like it detonates it. So all of this combined kind of creates some really awesome setup potential, wall potential. Obviously, we see the Frost Ambush in this trailer. But after this, in the exact same combo, we see some of the utility of the enhanced whip grab, which launches the opponent into the air, and it allows for air air extenders, because we see the enhanced air grab as well, which goes into an air string and a really famous Azuna drop. So we saw a lot of sauce in this one clip, but so much of the enhanced seems to lead to combo possibilities. Right, this is the Cyrax portion of the trailer, but beforehand, we see Takeda go for his kind of Rekka style move again, but this one has the enhanced Ender, which causes a knock-up. The pop-up into a air string, and a new Ender that we hadn't seen before. This one's like some mini explosions, and it goes for a knockdown situation. Afterwards, we see the Cyrax self-destruct get called, but this one's different. Cyrax gets hit by the opponent and drops the bomb that he's holding onto. The bomb hits the floor, and then it detonates after a set time. We have so many questions over how this is going to work. Clearly, Cyrax is now able to drop the bomb that he comes in holding. Can you make him drop the bomb? Does the bomb become a low, almost like MKX? There are so many questions, but all we know for now is that this self-destruct has different options. Things that weren't there before, and stuff that we're excited to try out. The cool thing about the bomb explosion in this trailer is that we see Takeda go for a new Ender in the air, which looks like the return of his air flip special attack. We see this again very shortly, so clearly it's a special move that has made its appearance once again. Finally, we see some extended combos, mostly involving the enhanced low shuriken, it looks like, the one that throws 3. It kind of demonstrates that low slide that Takeda has, that's normally like a couple of hits, goes into a full combo because of the explosions. Again, this is very similar to Mortal Kombat X, and then the combo that we see afterwards is even more demonstrations of kind of just the source, of the combo possibilities that this character has. There is so much to work with, and seems to be pretty creative as well. Alright, up next is my favourite part of the trailer. Sector fires 2 smart missiles instead of 1 now, and that is a huge change for the cameo. On top of the fact that it makes Smart Missile actually usable now, it means that we're going to see more combo potential, more stuff on block. The end of the game is going to become a lot more scary because Homing Missile has always been good for closing out rounds. Now you have 2 of them, that's going to add quite a lot of extra layers and allow certain situations and setups that weren't there before. So, very excited to try this out. Going into those missiles, Takeda does the first 2 hits of that Rekka-style special move and doesn't do anything else, allows the missiles to pick up and continue the combo. After this, honestly, it's just a huge demonstration of how much combo potential this character has, and it just comes down to enhanced launchers, weird pop-ups, just kind of everything you could think of is here in the trailer, and I imagine this is just merely a taste. Normally with these trailers, the second the players get their hands on the character, we start to see some insane damage and some insane situations pretty quickly, so overall, let's have a chat about what I think of Takeda from first impressions, and, to be honest, the stuff that we saw in this trailer that isn't even just Takeda focused. The general vibes from Takeda in this trailer from a lot of the community has seemed to be quite positive. I think people were kind of expecting Takeda to have setup, combo potential, range to work with, a lot of various kind of interesting normals, and a lot of people kind of look into the setups that he had from, in MKX it was the low kunai, now it's going to be the low shurikens it looks like. A lot of his strings kind of are retained from Mortal Kombat X, and then you have stuff like the running stance, you have all of his air options, some of them were there before, some of them are brand new, like his kind of air grab hover thing that no doubt we're going to be seeing a lot when the character actually releases to the public, but I just think the overall vibes have been positive. I think people are very excited to see Takeda come back. I think people are very excited to see just how much combo potential this character has. I guess we'll have to wait and see what possible weaknesses might exist. We obviously didn't see anything in terms of like defensive armor, things that could act as a reversal. We don't know what kind of health this character's going to have. He might have crazy mix-ups and combos and stuff. He might also have like low HP like Natara or Geras or something. So I guess all of that remains to be seen, but overall, even though we haven't seen much, I really think this is one of the cooler new characters into MK1. Obviously, he's not new, he was an MKX, but characters that are in the DLC, right? I think that he's just adding some possible crazy MKX-style layers to the game, and I wonder if this is going to be a taste of things to come, right? If people really like this kind of character, then who knows what kind of direction MK can go in the future. Outside of Takeda, we saw 3 extra things that are cameo-focused: the Frost Wall, the Cyrax bomb change, and the Sector double smart missile. Frankly, I think all 3 of these are in a good direction, right? Frost needed something to be individual in the game. Frost really did nothing better than anyone else, and there was nothing she did that no one else did but a little bit better, to be frank. So having this kind of extra move, that all of a sudden puts Frost in a space where she's now doing something no one else can, and I guess time will tell how useful this is going to be, but I feel like we're going to see a lot of crazy stuff on social media, you know, that day one, finding this piece of tech, finding that, so let's see how that unfolds. In regards to Cyrax, I think this, again, is a very positive change. The only question I have is, are you in control of when he drops the bomb or not? If he can drop it on command, that's going to massively change just how this cameo works for a lot of different characters, especially seeing as, you know, do we know if it hits both players? Do we know if it's going to be a low, like I said earlier? There's a lot of questions left unanswered, but thankfully, doesn't seem like it's going to be too long until the public get to play this version and actually find out what's going on. But Cyrax could be pretty insane now. The final cameo that we saw was the Sector double homing missile, and to be honest, I don't really need to elaborate any further than I did previously in this video. I just want to reiterate that I'm happy to see it in the game. Adding extra smart missiles was personally actually one of the things I really hoped they would do. I don't know if there's any other changes. Ed Boon did mention that we are getting patch notes early this week, so those patch notes will be going live at some point, and we actually get to uncover what is changing. But just from the trailer alone, all of these cameo changes look very interesting, and all of it a positive direction for the respective cameo that needed that help. But that's going to be my look at this Takeda trailer. Stay tuned for more content to come, and I feel like it's going to be a busy week with Mortal Kombat. We have EVO this week, we have the balance patch which will be looming, Takeda and Farah, and the patch next week. They even mentioned that at EVO you can play as Takeda, and they have the patch there, so players are going to be able to get their hands on all the changes and stuff. It's just going to be ridiculous, and I'm very excited to see what happens. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.